Hey everyone, today let's talk about what new players should do in the game. That is right from the very beginning. How to start playing Diablo 4 in 2026. This video was inspired by a comment where someone wrote, "I opened the map and don't understand anything, where to go or what to do." So I decided to explain in general terms what, where, and why. Here I'll cover the key points for each aspect. Don't worry, it'll be short and beginner-friendly, clear and to the point. Enough with the intro. New off here, let's go. First is choosing a character. There's a full video explaining this, so just a quick note. When choosing a class, don't look for any overpowered builds. The only thing that matters is whether you personally like the class. In Diablo 4, each class has several builds that differ in playstyle. Naturally, they also vary in effectiveness, but if you decide to prioritize some meta or someone else's opinion over your own preferences right at the start, that's not good. After choosing a class, you might wonder which mode to play, Season or Eternal Realm. It's simple. If there's not much time left until the end of the season, choose the Eternal Realm. It's the same game, just without seasonal mechanics. Each season introduces some feature, but only for that season. But you, as a beginner, don't need it. You'll have enough to learn in the first few weeks anyway. However, if the season has just started and you're serious about learning the game, start in the season. Once you've created your character, you have the option to play the campaign if you like the story, or skip it if you don't care about the lore. Personally, I don't care about the story, but I played the campaign when I first launched the game. Why? Because I knew that if I didn't play it at the start, I'd never go back to it. As an introduction to the core mechanics, the look of Sanctuary, and the basic controls, the campaign works just fine. Before I continue, let me tell you that all resource types are gathered in a separate tab, and hovering your mouse over each resource shows you which activities you can get it from. Jumping ahead, I'll also note that when you're first learning the game, try all activities, because their role changes from season to season. Overall, the balance is set up so that you should do a bit of everything. At the same time, there is enough freedom to focus more often on the activity you like the most. About leveling. Previously, new players leveled up through Lilith's altars. It didn't matter whether it was in a season or the Eternal Realm, the reputation system was the same. Now the old reputation system, where Paragon points and skill points were awarded for renown, which meant discovering Lilith's altars, only works in the Eternal World. In seasons, all those Paragon points and skill points have been moved to the seasonal journey, and you have to unlock them again each season. That means for playing in the Eternal Realm, you'll need to find Lilith's altars once. In seasons, you don't. But altars discovered in seasons are transferred to the Eternal Realm when the season ends. In seasons, they don't give you anything worthwhile, even for a new character. When leveling, and there's a video about this in the Diablo 4 core playlist, the higher the video in the list, the more recent. Don't forget to use elixirs and incenses. Also remember about the experience wells found in Nightmare Dungeons. Here, I need to introduce you to how potions work. An elixir gives an 8% experience boost and incense gives 5%. On paper, incense bonuses don't stack for experience. That is, 1 incense or 3 will still only give a 5% bonus. In practice, it's not like that. In Season 11, 8% from an elixir, 5% from incense, and 15% from a well gave a 23% bonus. But in one activity, the 5% incense bonus didn't work, and in another, the well gave around 8% instead of 15%. How this will work after the next patch, we'll only know after the patch. I'm preparing you for the fact that some things in Diablo 4 don't work as they should, and don't talk with absolute certainty about things you haven't personally tested. Elixirs start dropping from elites around level 30, and all incense types can be crafted at the occultist by level 60. Early in the game, remember to gather herbs for crafting them along the way. For everything else about leveling, I strongly recommend watching the linked video. Here, I'll briefly list all the main activities. Legion. Legion events happen 3 or 4 times per hour. Blizzard sometimes changes the intervals. The rewards are good, especially early in leveling. There's a bonfire there. Experience from it stacks up to 15 times, 1% per stack. But don't arrive too early to build up those 15 stacks. They last 15 minutes and don't give a significant experience boost overall. Run around for a couple of minutes in the flashing areas on the map, kill some mobs, get your reward. The rewards have been balanced by the developers and were good, except in Season 11 where all resources drop like trash, insane amounts from everywhere. I hope by the time you watch this, at least some resources are valuable again. World Boss, also worth doing, especially in the first 2 weeks of playing. This event is quite rare, every 2 or 3 hours. The rewards are meaningful, especially early in leveling, and the bosses themselves aren't dangerous at all. The boss spawn timer is shown on the world map. The pit is available to us according to the patch notes after character level 10, but in practice after level 60. What it'll be like in the future, no one knows. I'm preparing you for the fact that information from patch notes doesn't always or fully match reality. This applies to a small part of the information. But overall, patch notes should be taken as a guideline, not the absolute truth. And just so you know, no, I don't hate Diablo 4. It's a fairly competitive game. I wouldn't call it the best, but it's decent. So the pit, this is where we level glyphs. Glyphs start dropping from any activity on Torment 1 and above. Glyphs can also drop from the pit boss. Glyphs are placed into key nodes on Paragon boards. Their power increases as they level up. Also, their radius increases twice, at level 16 and level 46. The maximum glyph level is 100. The pit used to be crucial for leveling Paragon and farming experience, aspects, loot, and obols. Now its role has been forcibly reduced. Not very elegantly, yes, but Blizzard isn't about elegant solutions. But the basics remain. There are 150 levels. You get 15 minutes to complete it. Dying reduces one attempt to level the glyph. The percentage chance of successfully upgrading a glyph depends on the pit level relative to the glyph's level. Sometimes there isn't enough progress in the pit to reach 100%. I'd even say that every third rift lacks enough progress, and you have to run back or leave. Meanwhile, the developers report before every season that they've defeated backtracking. That is, don't believe everything you hear. This season, a tower was added next to the pit entrance. It's the same as the pit but inverted. The pit is for glyphs, farming, drops, and other rewards and seasonal activities. The tower is strictly for the leaderboard. There's no loot or other rewards here except for a place on the leaderboard. That's how it is at the time of recording. What happens later, time will tell. I predict things will change a lot. There's also a video about this, but complete beginners don't need to watch it yet. You'll just get more confused. In short, progress in the tower is abundant because there are 5 levels. Time limit is 10 minutes. The boss dies quickly, unlike in Diablo 3. But this is a beta version, and what comes next is unknown. After all, once upon a time, progress in the pit was also abundant. Helltide. These are areas marked in red on the map, active for 55 minutes each hour. Then there's a 5-minute break and it appears in a new location. Generally, this is the most popular leveling method. The idea is to kill monsters and earn, besides loot, gold, and resources, cinders. These cinders are used to open chests. Chests have different costs and different quantities and qualities of rewards. Also, from these chests, we get hearts used on boss altars. The Helltide boss name can vary. The Maiden, Duriel in Season 11, or something else in the future. I like this activity for its relaxed gameplay and variety of rewards. Infernal Horde. There's a separate up-to-date video on this topic. Briefly, using compasses earned from various activities. You open the Horde itself. There, you'll face 4 to 10 waves. Maybe there are no more compasses for 4 waves, but they existed for the earliest difficulty levels, or the ones before Torment 1. After each wave, 3 pylons appear, and choosing one starts the next wave. The choice doesn't really matter, so click any. 0 to 3 times, special wave pylons may appear, giving you more ether during that wave. At the end, you exchange ether for different types of rewards. Again, there's a video on this activity with all the details. Nightmare dungeons. In the background, I'm running a nightmare dungeon with goblins. There are many types of nightmare dungeons, but only 2 or 3 types are really useful. Nightmare dungeons are the same dungeons available from the start of the game. Early on, we get aspects for starter builds, resources, and loot from them. Soon after, you'll start getting sigils for nightmare versions of these dungeons, and powder to craft sigils at the occultist. The first time you complete any nightmare dungeon, you get a reward. Sigils can be magic or legendary. The difference is that a legendary sigil has 4 tiers and a boss at the end. The loot for each tier is shown on the sigil or on the teleport to the next tier of the escalated legendary dungeon. A successfully reworked activity with lots of nuances and details, which of course has its own detailed video. But even here there are nuances, those annoying doors. For 2 years the developers have seriously discussed what to do with them. They sped up the animation for some door types and some dungeon types instead of removing them completely. I'm not joking. In the developer's opinion, there's no more serious problem in the game. In my opinion, that problem is medical. Strongholds. In Diablo 4, there are 3 strongholds in each open world region, 18 in total. After capturing them, a settlement with a waypoint, side quests, or previously unknown dungeons may appear there. Sometimes key aspects for some starter builds are found in such dungeons. It's recommended to clear strongholds early in leveling, right after getting your starter build's aspects. These strongholds sometimes bug out and a beginner won't know what to do. All stronghold walkthroughs and their bonuses are covered in a separate video. PvP feels like an afterthought and isn't balanced. It has 2 separate zones with their own quests and currency. These locations are called Fields of Hatred. This activity has near zero popularity, and it's definitely not why people start play Diablo 4. I only go there to complete Tree of Whispers tasks. Occasionally, you might randomly meet another player and get attacked. Dying has no consequences, penalties, or losses. Tree of Whispers. This is a useful activity at any stage of the game, without exceptions. Blizzard balanced it over several seasons, and they succeeded. Whispers exist in almost all activities and are marked with special icons. For completing these whispers, usually along the way, you get chests with rewards. These rewards are well balanced, and there are even strategies for farming these chests. Don't skip these whispers if you see them nearby. Kurast Undercity. Tributes which unlock certain rewards in the Kurast Undercity start dropping early, around level 20. The developers made many types, but the useful ones are tributes for runes, keys for uber bosses, and for mythical items. Sometimes when playing a class that needs a specific legendary amulet, the tributes for a guaranteed passive aspect in an amulet is useful. This activity is also well balanced and can keep a player entertained for a while. There are also a couple of videos on the Undercity in the Diablo 4 core playlist. They might be old, but they're still relevant and will explain all the details in a few minutes. The chance of dropping a mythical item from the corresponding tributes over the long term is about 30%. But you might get 3 mythics in 3 runs or none in 10 runs. That's how randomness works. Also, note that drop chances change from season to season, and what worked last season may change. And finally, Uber bosses. These are the main bosses in their Uber versions, each with its own list of legendary item drops. That is, to get certain legendary items, you need to fight specific Uber bosses. Keys for them drop from many activities starting from Torment 1. You can see which activities drop which keys by hovering over the key. Briefly about the Uber bosses themselves. You don't need a key to kill any Uber boss. Keys are needed to open the reward chest after killing them. First, there are lesser bosses. To open their loot chest, you need 12 keys. From these bosses' loot chests, you get keys for the higher tier Uber bosses. Varshan is located here, and keys for him look like this. Zir is located here, and keys for him look like this. Next is Grigua, located here. Keys for him look like this. The next lesser Uber boss is Beast, located here. Keys for him look like this. Next is Urivar, located here. The next group is senior Uber bosses, Endariel, Harbinger, and Duriel. To open their chest after killing them, you need 3 keys each. Harbinger is located here. Next is Andariel. She is located here. Then comes Duriel. He is located here. After killing any of the above Uber bosses, there's a small chance that a shadow of Belial may appear. Killing it gives you a key to Belial himself. The last and main Uber boss is Belial himself. His difference is that he drops loot from the loot table of any Uber boss of your choice. How to farm Uber bosses solo or in a group? The answer is simple, whatever you prefer. If you farm in a group, the fastest player has to wait for the slowest because the altar won't activate until everyone opens their chest. Tip: don't save up keys for Uber bosses once they're available on Torment 1. You can get mythical items from Uber bosses starting from Torment 1. In Kerriga, there's a purveyor of curiosities where you can exchange obols earned in the game for random item types. Early on, you can gear up decently, and even late in the game, you can occasionally get a good item from there, sometimes even a mythical one. Another important tip: by default, the game settings are very inconvenient. You can adjust everything to your liking, controls down to the smallest details, and display settings. There's a video on this in the same Diablo 4 beginners playlist. Don't jump into the general playlist yet. You'll just get confused. First, take your time and try out the main activities. There's also a video on runes and rune words in the same playlist. Starting from last season, Season 10, mythical items can drop from any activity. That is literally anywhere, but with a very low chance. Generally, farming them is most efficient on Uber bosses, but how it works in any season will only be known in that season. Blizzard pulls some wild moves, and predicting where and how mythics will drop is pointless. So the main thing, don't rush and don't jump from one thing to another. Smoothly transition from one activity to another. The game isn't complicated. There aren't tons of different mechanics, and you'll learn it pretty quickly. Also, Diablo 4 is a good game. At first, for the first 100 hours or so, you won't notice the flaws and shortcomings. But later, as you dive deeper, you'll start noticing issues here and there, realizing that not everything works as advertised. Some things don't work for months or even years, but if you don't plan to play for more than 2 to 3 weeks each season, this game is for you, and you'll definitely have a lot of fun. Another nuance: if you plan to play in the Eternal Realm and perfectly gear several characters, forget that idea. Every 6 months or a year, items transferred from seasons to the Eternal Realm or originally obtained in the Eternal Realm become worthless because a patch comes out that changes balance and builds. In the 1.5 years I've personally played, items have been reset twice. In a month with the patch for the second expansion, a lot will be reworked, meaning items in the Eternal Realm will be useless again. Besides, in about a year, another DLC will come out, which with 99% probability will also reset all items collected in the Eternal Realm. Also, there is no ladder in the Eternal World yet. Later, when DLCs no longer make money and stop coming out, then you can start playing in the Eternal Realm. But for now, your items will keep getting turned into gear, only good for starter builds with 540 power with annoying regularity. And there's nowhere to spend resources. You hit the 1 million cap in just a couple of seasons, and then all that treasure just piles up on the floor. That is, the game is almost 3 years old, but due to constant reworks, some basic things are still not properly finished. That's my take and advice for starting play Diablo 4 in 2026. I hope I didn't forget anything. If I did, leave a comment. If not, write about how great I am. I'd appreciate a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you.